Yo, welcome into another episode. It's Capturing the Game Within the Game podcast featuring me, your host, Desmond Jones, and my man's the one and only Jawan Poloman Stewart. Today we got another great guest in the building, but before we get into it, I just want to remind the audience and listeners that Capturing the Game is sponsored by Capture Sports Agency, where the CEO and founder is Chantel Smith-Jones. Now that we got some of the introductions up today, let's go ahead and talk about today's guest. Today's guest is a brand ambassador for ROI, but he's also the strength and conditioning consultant at Hurd Performance. His name is Jeff Hurd. Jeff, how you doing today, man?
Good to see you.
How you doing today, Jeff?
I'm doing outstanding. Excited to be on your podcast.
Man, I'm excited to have you on here. So I know you're a strength and conditioning coach, so you already know I'm gonna have questions about myself because I'm getting ready to graduate soon with my second master's, and I promised myself once I finish, I was gonna go ahead and get back in the gym. So I'm gonna definitely ask about advice. I won't ask about it now, but I will ask during this podcast. I want some advice for myself as I try to get back into some decent shape. I don't need to be like beach body material, but I just want to be decent.
I hear you. Yeah, no one wants to get that dad bod, right?
Yeah, especially when I don't want the dad bod before you even have kids. Like
that's right. That's even worse.
Yeah, so definitely got to work on it. But we'll get into it. But Jeff, can you go ahead and tell the audience a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I'm a retired NFL strength and conditioning coach. I was in the league as a strength coach for 20 plus years, around 23. Prior to that, I was at the college level for 10 years as a strength and conditioning coach. Now I'm currently started my own business, Hurd Performance. And then I'm also the brand ambassador for ROI, which is a brand new sports performance physical therapy center in Cedar Park, Texas. So that keeps me pretty busy. Like I said, I'm retired, so I don't want to get too busy, but it's enough to keep me active and keep my passion alive. The things I love to do.
I understand that. So yeah, my father, when he retired, his goal was to put a new meaning to the word retirement. So he wanted to absolutely do nothing. So but now for the most part, he just takes care of his brothers and stuff as they get ill, and he's like the taxi driver for them. So
right. Well, it's good they have him.
Yeah, it is. So I don't know where some of them would be at if it wasn't for them during this time. But it's good to hear that you're still, maintaining being active, or at least controlling how active you want to be with your running your own business and being a brand ambassador for ROI. So so you've been in the NFL for 20 plus years. That's incredible. How, what was that experience like?
I'm blessed, to be honest. It was incredible. I wish I could have went a little bit longer, but I'll take what I could get. It's a very rewarding and a hard career, but the rewards far outweigh the negatives of it. And I was blessed to have some long runs, with teams, and my kids were able to stay in certain schools for long periods of time. They weren't getting yanked in and out every 2 to 3 years. So it ended up being great. I know God had a plan in that, had a hand in that, because it worked out perfect, honestly. And it was great to learn from, all the different head coaches that I worked under, the older players, things I learned from them, the experiences with them, and just the excitement of it. It's hard to fulfill those Sundays after you're done. I promise you that. And it's a transition, but what a great experience. I wouldn't trade it for any other career.
That's awesome. What's some of the teams that you work with, if you don't mind sharing?
No, not at all. I started out, actually, this will kind of feed into, my background a little bit. I started out My first job was at Delta State University, at a Division II school down in Mississippi. And from there, I went to Clemson as an assistant. And then I got the head job at Western Michigan University. And we were there for 6 years. I started volunteering training camps with the Kansas City Chiefs in between our summer program to when our season started. I would go work training camps. And I did that for a couple years. And the person who I would consider my biggest mentor, Dave Redding, was the head strength coach for the Chiefs. And he started a paid internship, one of the first ones in the league. When I say paid, it was $900 a month for 6 months and no benefits. And he said, look, it's yours if you want it. I know you got a good job and you're established, but it's yours if you want it. So I, of course, visited with the wife and talked to family and prayed about it. And everybody thought I was crazy to leave the job I had to go do it. But I knew what my dream was and my aspirations. And, so we took a leap of faith and went and did it. I did that for 2 years. And in between the 6-month stints of being an intern, I would work at the airport throwing bags. I worked for a moving company. I did whatever I could. I started taking out my college retirement just to survive. So after 2 years, I said, I got to get a real job or a paying job. And so I was fortunate enough to be hired at the University of Tulsa, was there for a year. And then my good friend and also someone who I consider a mentor, Jerry Palmieri, followed Tom Coughlin from Boston College to the Jacksonville Jaguars. And his assistant decided to stay at Boston College. So Jerry had no assistant in mind. He knew I'd at least been exposed to the NFL, and he never had. So he called me and asked me to be his assistant. So I'm back in the league full time as his assistant, and it worked out great. And then from there, Dave Redding, AKA Redman, basically kind of got burnt out and said, I need to take a break from the league. So Marty Schottenheimer called me and said, would you come and be my guy since Redman's stepping away for a while? I know you'll run the program like he did. So now I'm back in Kansas City as the head guy there. And, then as things go, they blow up the staff if things aren't going like they want them to. In fact, we made the playoffs and still got let go. So then I was fortunate enough to get hired by Norv Turner at the San Diego Chargers. And we had a good run there. We were there for 7 years. And then we all got let go there. I was out a year, volunteered at the Olympic Training Center, did as much giving back to the community as I could. And then I was hired as an assistant with the Vikings and was there for 3 years, and then was fortunate enough to have enough years in the league, and my age equaled the number that I could retire. So here I am.
That's awesome. So if you notice, I was nodding my head as you mentioned some coaches. I'm like, yeah, I remember that person. I remember that coach, that person. Like, I was like the Norv Turner, the Tom Coughlin, especially his first run before he even got to New York. The Norv Turner, when he was with San Diego. Like, I was like, okay, yeah, I remember all these names.
Dick Vermeil at Kansas City.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I learned a lot from Dick. Some things other than X's and O's and sets and reps. I learned a lot from him.
Yeah. So let's talk about it. What is some of the stuff that you learned over the 20 plus years? Like I know the industry changed so much from when you started as out in college to where you ended your career.
Yeah, it advanced a lot. I know, back in the term back in the day.
That's okay.
I can say that because I'm an old head, but it was whoever could lift the best and be in the best shape and stretch the best. Now there's so much science involved in it. It's crazy. GPS tracking and force plates and KBIs, and I mean it's off the chain. But it's the things that you learn. Like I learned from Redman how to push people. It wasn't just about having the best program; it was getting the most out of the player. He taught me how to figure out some of the vets that work their tails off. Make sure you listen to them. You'll learn something from them. As far as how to set up their program. He taught me how to be, tough and hard as far as what I expect of the player, but also being to understand that maybe a guy that's been in the league 13 years isn't going to be able to power clean a bunch of weight because of his back. So figure something out for him to do to stay explosive besides the black and white power clean, squat, all that stuff that you may be able to prolong his career by finding something else for him to do other than the standard movements. So that was a big help. And the thing that I learned from Coach Vermeil was, and this is the one thing I saw was in your questions, that if I would have known then what I know now, I think I would have started doing this much earlier in my career. I did it for most of it, but I really wish I'd have started it sooner. Is you coach the man first and the player second. And that spoke volumes to me.
That's powerful.
Guys want to be disciplined and they want to be coached hard, but if you get to know them and understand them and have an actual relationship with them, I'm not talking about going out and pounding beers and, doing all that. I'm talking about really taking a interest in their life and where they're at and their family and where they're at mature wise and issues they have. And they'll run through a wall for you. They'll want you to coach them hard because they respect the fact that you care about them and you're interested in helping them be the best they can be rather than making yourself look good.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I'm glad I learned that and did it for most of my career, but I wish I would have done that, started it early on, even when I was coaching in college, instead of, just being a taskmaster and, this is what we're doing and it's my way or the highway,
Yeah, I think it goes a long way to get to know someone first, get to know them from who they are and show them and prove them as a man or even as a woman. I think that goes, you care about the character because when the game is going to go, eventually, but that character inside that person is going to last a lot longer than the game. So
you don't know what, if somebody comes walking in the weight room, you're right. Coach the person first and then the athlete. But, a guy could come in the weight room and you just might think he's a turd that day, but he may have something that went on at the house you have no idea about.
Yeah.
That, okay, let's try to help get that solved so we can go ahead and perform better today rather than just jump him right there and say, hey, get your head out of your nowhere because maybe there's something going on that you don't even know about.
Yeah. I agree. How hard is it, or like from your experience, how hard is it to get the respect of those athletes? Because some of them, I feel like, I've heard rumors. This is just rumors. Like sometimes, the players lost respect for the coaching staff, so they're not really listening. They're not really playing hard for them. How hard it is, is it to get that respect or to get the players to really buy into what's really going on?
Well, there's, to me, the biggest thing you got to do right out the gate is to be upfront and to be honest with them. And they need to know that you have no ulterior motive. Your motive is, at least I'm talking about from the weight room standpoint. And it applies to the position coaches too, because if you play games with guys, they're going to sense it. They're going to know your sincerity. So if you're honest and upfront with them and you tell them exactly what you expect out of them, and then you demand that and you demand it from everybody else too, and then you're there to help them become the best they can possibly be, they're going to trust you. I always took great pride in players knowing that I wasn't 5-0. I'm not running upstairs to the head coach. I'm going to handle our issues down here. until you become a problem for the whole team. Then you and I are not in front, you and I are going to go up and have a meeting with the head coach. I'm not going to run up there. We're both going to go up there and we'll get it solved. If you're having a problem with me that you and I can't figure out, then you know what? We'll both go up and see the head coach, like grown men.
Yeah.
And players know that, they sense that. But if you bullshit them, or you're two-faced, or you say one thing to them and something else to the head coach, or it's not hard to have their respect if you're upfront and honest. And I just think that's the only way to do it, the only way to coach.
Yeah. I agree that honesty goes a long way. Like sometimes that's their word, and that word goes a long way.
But they also need to know that if they're screwing up, I mean, there's no gimmies. I mean, there's no hall passes. This is your job. This is what you need to do, and we're going to figure out the best way to get it done. But we're all in this together, and how you perform affects everybody else in this room too, and their kids, not just you.
Yeah. Amen to that. People got to eat.
That's right. Everybody wants to get paid. So
yeah. People got to eat, so I get it. Trust me, I get it. You mentioned some of the mentors that help you along the way. I want to go back to that. Like, talked about who were some of the people that really, helped you throughout your career.
Well, I got to start with, my parents. Like, they always were. If you have a passion for something, go do it, pursue it. We'll have your back. And then as far as the weight training, it was kind of funny. I had a high school coach, and all we had was an old school universal machine. And I don't think they even exist anymore, except in like museums. It was a little circuit thing. And anyway, he had us all lifting, and I thought that was kind of cool. And then I played baseball in college, and at that time, all we did was Nautilus stuff, and nothing, no free weights, nothing heavy. And I went back home for a summer, and he grabbed me and says, "Hey, you got to start squatting. I don't care if you don't do anything else free weight wise." This high school coach told me that. "You got to start squatting." So I went from this is how I got interested in the field too. When I got done playing ball, was all I did was squat that summer. And I had, the year before, we played 60 games and I had 0 home runs. The next year we had a budget cut. We played 40 games and I had 10 home runs. So I'm like, okay, what did I do different? Nothing except squat.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, there's something to this. So when I got done, I thought, as a career, what can I do that would give me enjoyment and help athletes? I said, I'm going to get into that. And it was a young field at the time.
Yeah.
I said, I'm going to get into exercise physiology and kinesiology and strength conditioning. I want to be a strength conditioning coach. So that's how it got started. But the people that helped me the most were, I mentioned him already, was, my high school coach, my parents, Red Man, Dave Redding with the Chiefs, Jerry Palmieri, the guy that hired me at Jacksonville. He had a big influence on my career. And the founding fathers, the guys that came before me, Johnny Parker, good grief, I wrote some of them down. Al Miller, all those guys that were the first strength coaches in the league. Those are the guys I kind of looked up to, and the guys that, I tried to learn from and listen to, and they had a big impact as far as me, as far as my career. There was a guy, though, I can't not mention this guy. This guy was something else. He was the defensive coordinator at Delta State. I was Delta State's first strength coach. This guy had a vast knowledge of strength conditioning, that the methodology that he actually taught me has stood the test of time. It was crazy.
Yeah.
I was amazed at, his theory of you train total body, because on the football field, you never not use just your upper body, or you never use just your upper body, or or play this play with just your legs. So he was big on training the whole body every time you lifted. So he had a heavy, light, medium theory. It was heavy every day, but you chose different angles that made it a medium day. So and I've used that my whole career with training athletes, and that's the strongest I've ever gotten people. I've tried 4-day splits, I've tried everything else, but that system worked. I still do it today as you know, a retired strength coach. I still go out in my garage, and that's how I train total body Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then I do conditioning on the other days. But it lets you have a full day to recover from the weights too.
Yeah. Okay. So talk to me about it, because I'm curious now.
Yeah, you're interested. Yeah, you want to start training again, right?
Yeah. So when you're doing the full body, are you talking about like exercises that involves the full body, or is it just like doing the full body throughout the like your set of exercises? So say like, all right, maybe doing some R curls here, and then I don't know, you do the next exercise and some squats. Like, you know, walk me through the heavy, medium, light.
The real simple way to explain it is like Monday, that's your heaviest day of the week.
Okay.
So the lifts that you can move the heaviest weight with for your legs, probably squat.
Okay.
Upper body would be bench press.
Okay.
Okay. So those would be the two main lifts. Now around those, so you would do your squats and then supplement it with a hamstring. So you keep balance front to back. So that could be a leg curl, it could be an RDL, it could be a machine hamstring curl, physio ball curl. But so you do a set of squats and you do a set of hamstrings. And you starting out, you want to go like 2 to 3 sets of something light and some fairly high reps, 8 to 10 reps, to get sore and unsore and back in shape a little bit, back in lifting shape. So then you would condition on Tuesday, come back in on Wednesday. Now that's your light day. So the lightest thing you can do is probably maybe a lunge or a single leg squat. You know, it might be dumbbell press, shoulder press. So you're picking this one movement per body part, basically, at a different angle every time you go in the gym.
Okay.
But you're still going to press, you're going to pull, and you're going to do some kind of a leg. So you're going to do shrugs or a power shrug, a dumbbell shrug. You're going to do some kind of pulling movement. You're always going to train your back with your press. So if you bench, you want to do some kind of horizontal row for your back. Keep it in the same plane. If you do a shoulder press, you want to do some kind of a lat pull down or a chin up. So you work in the same angle, opposite muscle.
Okay.
And then Friday, when you come in the weight room, I always look at that as that's my deadlift day. I like doing deadlifts on Friday.
Okay.
They can be done with dumbbells, whatever you feel comfortable, safe-wise doing them. A trap bar, or you can go old school and use a straight bar deadlift, but just make sure your form's good and you're locked in. And then I do it's my Friday gun day. And I'll just blow my arms up just to have fun. Like that's my dessert. I already got the meat and potatoes in. Now I'm going to have dessert. And I'll just do about 3 different bicep and 3 different tricep. Look good for the weekend.
Okay. I like it. Look, so I got 3 weeks left from my school and I'm done with school. So I said I was going to take the week off from everything, enjoy myself, party. I'm gonna say really party, but just really enjoy myself, be really mentally prepared. And but then the following week, I'm trying to go hard. So maybe I could do that Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
I think you can, because it's 3 days a week. The other days you do something active, just to keep burning some calories, and you can reach back out to me later too, and we'll talk some more about it.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna hold you to that. Trust me, I will.
All right.
I will. But so one thing I wanted to ask about too was, as much as like the exercises and stuff has changed, and so has like the available nutrition for athletes and people that has become readily available for people over the years. What's some stuff that And you don't even have to say about brand, but just some stuff like chemicals and stuff that's in some of the stuff that's quote unquote healthy that people should be look out for when they're maybe looking to decide to try to change up their eating habits or changing up their nutrition or whatnot. So I don't know if you could talk about that at all.
Yeah, I mean, I think it still boils down. It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
You can't really outwork a bad diet.
Mm.
I mean, and you might be able to get away with it while you're younger.
Yeah.
But when you get older, it's hard to outwork a bad diet.
Dang, that's what everyone says.
I know it. I just think that the simplest way to do it is, you want to look at your portions, and if it can't fit in your hand, it's too much. And I'm trying to make this real simple. This is success I've had with linemen and different people that try so hard to lose weight and they get frustrated. And so I look at it for the long haul. Here's what you do. First of all, you really increase your protein intake.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to have carbs. You have to. So I don't like the no carb completely thing, but they need to be cut back. In fact, unless it's a complex carb, which you get in vegetables, I have my guys, myself too. I try not to eat any like carb, pasta, bread, rolls, white rice, anything that would stick to the wall. I try not to eat after lunch.
Okay.
Because I know I'm going to burn that. If you eat it late at night, if it sticks to the wall, it's going to stick to you. It's just a simple way to remember it.
Okay.
So at night, all I try to eat is some lean meat and vegetables.
Okay.
But that way you're not starving yourself. And it's the portion size,
Yeah.
And the other thing, the hidden secret is eat slow. It's amazing the impact that has. Like if you eat slow, just take your time eating your meal. What happens is, and I'm not trying to sound real smart here, but your hypothalamus, which is the thing that tells you when you're full, has a chance to work right. We as Americans tend to eat fast and as much as we can, and your hypothalamus just gets bombed, and it can't even tell you that it gets overwhelmed. It can't even tell you you're full. If you eat a nice, slow, just enjoy your meal.
Yeah.
You'll feel yourself. I'm getting full. I'm not even done yet. Instead of already going back for that second plate. You know what I mean? Because we ate it too fast.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense because sometimes I've 8 meals and I'm like, I don't feel full initially. And then like I go do something and it's like, oh, wait a minute. I'm a little more full than I thought. Oh,
exactly.
Let me go ahead and lay down for this nap. Here it goes. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense.
Plenty of water. Drink plenty of water. And the biggest culprit is sugar. Put the sugar away. We don't even know it when we're eating food that sugar's in it sometimes. So if you're adding sugar and you're eating something that a pastry or, candy or, don't deprive yourself, but that shouldn't be like an every meal, every day type thing. It's not the fat, it's the sugar. It's not the fat in the meal, it's the sugar that gets you.
That's always my hardest struggle is the sugar.
Oh, it's hard.
It's terrible. Like and my father has it bad too because like after every meal it's like, all right, I gotta have something sweet. So you gotta have, and I feel like I inherit that too. So it's
well, one little thing that'll help you honestly is go get some dark chocolate covered almonds.
Dark chocolate covered. Okay, hold on, let me write that down. Dark chocolate covered. Okay.
And I'll go get like after dinner if I'm feeling that, man, I wish the wife made me like brownies or pie today, and she knows better. I mean, we do it every once in a while, but it's not just sitting around. But I'll still have that sweet tooth after I eat. And I'll go in and get me just a small handful of those chocolate covered almonds. Just kind of savor them a little bit and chew them up. And man, that craving's pretty much gone. And it's not as high in calories and sugar, but it's still a little sugar just to kind of take that edge off.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna recommend that, especially to my pops, because I know dark chocolate is supposedly healthy for you, and
Yeah, it
almonds is
is.
good. Okay, and almonds is good for especially for men's too. So,
Exactly.
um, okay, so I know a little bit, So
That's
okay, I'm,
that's
I'm almost
good.
I'm almost excited. I got like a little gym at home. I got some like resistant ropes in there. Some it's like in a place where I can do some curl ups. I got uh not it's not a dumbbell, but what is it called? The
Kettlebell?
yes, that I got we got some ropes, so I got some jump rope. So that's gonna be in the summer. It's gonna be doing some at home exercises, some try to do some cardio work on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
And
So
Saturday.
and Saturday. Dang it. All right, and
Yeah.
Saturday.
They'll give you Sunday. You can rest on Sunday.
That's okay. I'll take my rest on Sunday. But I can do it. I think I can do it. At least I hope I can do it.
Yeah, and just take baby steps. Just start out nice
Yeah.
and easy, and you're gonna get sore, and just it'll take you a week, to get
Hmm.
unsore, and then the easiest one. I mean, the hardest one to miss is that first one. Then it gets easy after that. So just don't miss that first one.
Yeah. I won't. I won't. I won't. I've okay. All right. So okay. So question now. So now with the so right now we in the time of the recording this podcast. It's we're people are preparing for the NFL draft. What are some advice, or especially for athletes that are making the transitions from college to the NFL, that what's some things that the athletes should be doing, what's some stuff that they shouldn't be doing?
Well, the biggest thing is, the, that battery of tests, like at the combine and on your pro day. Those you need to train for those. I understand that because that's what gets you drafted and gets you paid initially. But once you're through with that, you need to get back and train to get ready to play football.
Mm,
Because I've seen it over the years. These guys train to do well on that 40 and the 3-cone drill and the short shuttle and the vertical jump and this and that. And they're behind when they show up for the off season because
mm,
they're not in football shape. They're just
yeah.
in combine shape. So make sure that you're getting ready to play football again before you show up.
Mm,
It's critical. And the one thing I will tell them too is to make sure that you're, as important as lifting is, make sure you're in condition shape so you
hmm.
don't fade and miss reps because you got tired, or make mistakes because you got tired. Because it's a whole different deal. That next step, that next level, and
Hmm.
nobody waits on you. If you're tired,
Hmm.
that's too bad. We're not waiting on you. You're
Hmm.
going to get mentally behind, physically behind. So make sure you're in shape. You can run, and you'll have time to get stronger, but you won't have time to catch up if you're out of shape.
That's very true. Okay. Um, Look, I'm not an athlete, but if I was, I'd be trying to make sure I'm in shape right now. Once I heard that, I'd be like, all right, let me go schedule like a 2 mile run or 5 mile run or
Yeah,
what,
just be able.
or,
Yeah,
what, or whatever it takes right now. Yeah. Um. Okay. So I know you've been in the NFL for a while and now retired, but you have any favorite stories from the time, or any favorite athletes that you worked with that like you like just some people that may have changed your life after you, or changed your perspective of when you was working with them.
well, I hate to just single out because I'm
Yeah.
going to forget somebody and somebody's going to, I thought
Oh.
I, they're all incredible athletes and good
Mm-hmm.
men. I think they get a bad rap because you only hear about the screw ups. You don't hear enough
Yeah.
about the guys that are just quality people, and the majority of them are. They're pros. They work at their trade and they help in the community. But I've been blessed to be around so many. A lot of it's because I was in the league that long, but
Mm-hmm.
anywhere from Joe Montana to Darren Sproles, as far as
Mm-hmm.
um, I think the thing that blew me away until I got used to being around it were the big guys.
Yeah.
How good at athletes they really were.
Freakish.
Yeah, like not just big people, but
Yeah.
could move, you
Yeah.
know. That's the thing that was incredible to me, and how gifted they were. Antonio Cromartie, just as an athlete, was incredible to me. His stride
Mm-hmm.
length and acceleration, and the fact that how much weight he could lift as a defensive back. And I mean, I could just go on and on with, people, Tony Gonzalez and Will Shields and
Mm-hmm.
those guys, Nick Hardwick, LaDainian Tomlinson, Philip Rivers. I mean,
Hmm.
just incredible athletes. Sean Merriman,
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah.
just,
In-
you know,
incredible.
and the thing and it makes my day, because every once in a while, one of those guys will give me a call just to check on me.
Yeah.
Saying, hey, how you doing, man? That's just like, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Because I've got more secrets than Pandora's box. Because if you do it right, guys are going to come to you and talk about stuff, because they're
Yeah.
afraid to go talk to their position coach or the head. Not
Yeah.
afraid, but they don't want to give them anything else to worry about or grade them on.
Mm-hmm.
And my only criteria in the weight room was whether you worked or not. I didn't get caught up in the politics of how much money somebody's getting paid, so they need to be playing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
like, you work hard for me, I'm going to stand on the table for you and upstairs. That's just the bottom line. So they have a comfort level with, hey, I got this going on at home. Once they trust you, what do you think? My
Mm-hmm.
kid's doing this. What do you think? Should I do that? How would you handle this? Or, man, I've had 6 concussions. What do you think? What? Give me your opinion. Should I retire? Should I not? I don't want to leave my quarterback hanging. And I've had so many heart to hearts with guys about stuff like that. Like, and then just to have them call me and say, hey, what's up, coach? How you doing? Hey,
Yeah,
my
that's
kid's doing
awesome.
good.
Yeah, that's awesome. I would be remiss if I didn't ask. I know you talked about it a little bit, but how has your faith played a part of your career?
Oh, it's huge.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, with everything that's involved in that career
Mm-hmm.
and the way it unfolded, there's no doubt that God had a hand in it, and my faith kept me going, as far as when things would get hard, or you're going to get fired, or you just, God has helped me get through some things that I think I would have crumbled or crashed. And in fact, I know that I can remember being at Western Michigan, and
Mm-hmm.
I got interviewed by the Detroit Lions for
Mm-hmm.
their job that came open, and I didn't get it.
Mm.
And I was like, why? I'm ready. You know what? I wasn't ready, and I didn't realize it.
Mm.
So God knew that, and He's like, you know what? If you get this job, you're going to fail miserably, and then you're never going to be able to achieve what I have planned for you.
Mm.
So
That's
I
deep.
look back at it. Once I started like volunteer, or being an intern, and I didn't know what I didn't know, but
Mm-hmm.
that was a blessing in disguise. But your faith, it helps you with your relationships, with your wife, with your kids. I don't know how people get through, especially the way times of the day are, how things are, without faith. And I think
Mm-hmm.
lack of it is why we treat each other like crap now. And you're right, I'm right, you're wrong, and there's nobody
Yeah.
gets along anymore.
Yeah. I agree with you 100%, man. You preaching to the choir. It's Sunday.
I
You
figured I
preaching
was.
today. Yeah, man. You preaching to the choir. You preaching today. That's a lesson for somebody out
I
there.
saw that one of your questions was your favorite, verse.
Yeah.
And I started thinking about it, and it you kind of go through phases. Like, I started out with John 3:16. That was my favorite when I was a young man, like
Mm-hmm.
13, 14, when I first accepted Christ. And then it kind of, it evolves into Deuteronomy 31:6-8 and Joshua 1:6, where God's talking about, he commands you to be courageous, and I'm going to be there for you, but just be courageous in your faith. And then it like right now, the things that I pray about and focus on and meditate on are in Romans 14:19, about nowadays we need to be following after things that make for peace and things that we can edify somebody else with, instead of just focusing on me, what's good for me. No, it's what's good for everybody, as a whole. And I pray for my kids every day that, they'll continue to grow in God's love and grace and the understanding of our Lord and Savior. So, it's just kind of funny how it's not that those old verses aren't still favorites, but you kind of have different ones for the time that you're in your life.
Oh yeah. Different stages. Like there's different messages or different verses that will carry you for a set time. It means something different. You thought it meant something, but you really understood what it meant. And once you've gone through some things or gone through that particular season, it carries a little extra weight in your pocket now.
Yeah. In Hebrews, it talks about, Hebrews 11:1, about faith. It's substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen, and about if we don't give up, we'll reap in due time. Just don't lose your faith, and without, it's an old football term, but I totally outkicked my coverage with my wife. God directed me to her, and she has just been a rock. And my motivation too, because she had to put up with the fact that we're going to do what? We're going to go live on $900 a month.
Yeah.
And she was like, okay, I got you. Let's go do this. Well, that way you'll never look back and say, what if? So she's been a godsend this whole process. So
amazing.
I'm blessed to have her.
Yeah, well, I'm happy for you, Coach. And look, I'm gonna have to go ahead and go into the rapid fire round because you're gonna make me want to go run 2 miles because of this interview. Because, but yeah, so we'll go ahead and transition to the rapid fire. It's the game within the game segment of our podcast. So my very first question for you, Jeff, is: are you ready to play?
Am I ready to play?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay. All right. Chocolate chip or oatmeal raisin cookies?
I'm an oatmeal raisin cookie guy because my grandma, she made those for me every time I came to her house. And I don't know if she accidentally slipped some chocolate chips in with them or not, but they were the best raisin cookies I ever had in my life.
Okay, shout out to grandma for the oatmeal raisin cookies. Okay, next question is TV shows or movies?
I was Westerns. I can't put it down because it seems like there's always a struggle, and more times than not, the good guys come out on top. So I like Western.
Okay. What's your favorite Western?
You give me a good Clint Eastwood, or even further back than that with some of the old favorites. But even Hombre with Paul Newman, I like those old Westerns too.
Yeah, you get right along with my dad and my Uncle George. Like that's the only thing they do is the Westerns, the black and white. They go super far back with it. So
did they watch Grit? The TV channel?
I'm pretty sure they do.
That has all the Westerns on it. Grit has all the Westerns on it.
I'm sure they did. That's his go-to. No matter if there's nothing on TV, he's big into sports. But if there's nothing on TV, he'll go pull up a Western, and it drives my mama insane because she's like, we pay for all this cable service and you turn on some black and white that has been aired for 20, 30 years. So yeah, it drives my son. I hear about it almost every Sunday. Trust me. Okay, football question for you. Randy Moss or T.O.?
I'm going with Randy.
Okay. I'm going Randy as well, just because like Randy was a different breed.
There hasn't been very many like him as far as having the speed and the length.
Yeah.
As far as a jump ball type situation, I mean, T.O., I'm not taking anything away from him.
Absolutely.
Randy was, to me, man, that speed and that length. And if you needed to have a play made and it didn't look like it was going to happen, he was the type of guy that could make it happen just by 50-50 ball. He was going to get it.
Yeah, I feel like I gotta change that question up. I feel like comparing T.O. to Randy, making try people feel like either or. I feel like that's like disingenuous to T.O. So I need to change that question up.
I wouldn't mind having either one of them, but if I had to make a pick,
Yeah, I got you. Okay, Tom Brady or Peyton Manning?
I got to go with Brady. I mean, the numbers prove it. I mean, especially over a course of games, I got to go with Brady.
Okay, I agree with you at that point. If it was like 3 years ago, 4 years ago, I might have said Manning. But at this point in time, it's like, I almost got to give it to Brady. I don't know. I'm gonna still pick Manning just because of the historical purposes. But what Brady has done is, incredible, and it probably will never be done again.
This his whole body of work and how he's taking care of himself, and whether you like the guy or not,
Yeah.
You have to respect the numbers that he's put up.
Yeah.
The time that he's done it.
Oh yeah. All right. So this will be one of the questions that get you in trouble. Barry Sanders or Walter Payton?
Sweetness. I'm going to go with Sweetness.
Okay.
Over Barry Sanders. Now, if I was just going to make a highlight tape, it'd probably be Barry. I ain't seen nobody make some of the cuts and stuff, but just as an overall running back, I'm going to go with Sweetness.
Okay. If you can go pro in any sport other than football, what would it be?
Well, I'm gonna go baseball.
Okay. I figure you.
Golf ain't far behind now.
Yeah.
You can play that a long time now and not get beat up.
Yeah. I figure you would go there because you mentioned that you played baseball and we were from one summer hitting 0 home runs to the next summer hitting 10 home runs.
I think if I could be that kind of an athlete, I'd love to have been an NBA player. I mean, those guys amaze me with their talent and their physical abilities and things they can do. That they amaze me. But baseball with all that guaranteed money, oh my God.
Sign me up. That's why. So I played baseball in high school and part of my collegiate career before I hung it up to focus on my engineering degree. So that's the field I'm in right now is engineering.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
What kind of engineering?
Computer. But right now I just moved into a manager role within the company I work for. So right now I'm just kind of managing and maintaining the lab and also the activities, and also just kind of leading the men and the women that's in the lab area. So I have about 6 people that report to me. So they're all doing amazing. They all do an amazing job for me right now. So.
Oh, good for you, man. That's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, okay, so here's a good question for you. Favorite sports moment that you've either seen or witnessed?
You're supposed to say the first thing that pops in your mind, right? So I would have to say the one I was a part of was beating the Denver Broncos at their place to go to the AFC Championship game when I was with the Jaguars. Nobody gave us a chance. The weekend before, we beat the Bills, who had never lost a home playoff game, and that blew everybody away. Then we roll up into Denver, the defending Super Bowl champs. Nobody gave us a snowball's chance, and you know where, and we beat them. So we flew back into Jacksonville, and it was chaos. People were, I'm not lying, from the airport all the way to the stadium, the road was just lined with people and cars, and the stadium was a zoo. It was almost scary how crazy everything was going on. So I would say personally, that was probably my most thrilling moment, was winning when we beat Denver in that playoff game.
Okay. That's awesome. Okay, so I got one more football question for you. You get a chance to start a defensive line with one of these players, Aaron Donald or Myles Garrett. Who you choosing?
Well, I'm going with Aaron Donald.
Okay.
Nothing to get Myles Garrett. I mean, he's a man child too, but Aaron Donald, he just disrupts a whole game. He could not have one tackle in the game and have an impact on the outcome of that game with no stats, just with his presence and absorbing double teams and freeing up guys to go make plays. He ain't gonna run on him. I mean, it's just he's something else. I haven't seen one like him in a long time.
Yeah, Aaron, I know is a menace in itself. So that's another one of the questions. Like, man, maybe I need to like say like Myles Garrett or like a TJ Watt or something like that. Just because like it's hard to pick Myles Garrett against like someone like Aaron Donald. Like when you talk about Aaron, you talk about somebody that's like arguably one of the all-time greats at that position. So because of the chaos that he causes on that line.
Yeah, it's crazy. Good question though, because they're both unbelievable players.
Yeah,
impact players.
Okay. If you get a chance to take over any organization, who would you choose?
I think I'm going to go with the Kansas City Chiefs. And the only reason I'm saying this is because I have insight to that and how the Hunt family has ran that organization with integrity and honesty, and they treat their people. So that would be one I'd like to be involved in, because it's just been done the right way for so many years. I can remember Mr. Hunt, he didn't even have a marked parking place at the stadium. And he's the owner. He would just park wherever was available, and he knew everybody's name, from the guy that walked around with the cigarette butt picker-upper to, the head coach. He knew everybody, and everybody was treated fairly. And I know Clark, his son, has continued to tried to be the same way. So I think I'd have to go with the Chiefs, and their fan base is unbelievable. In a kind of a basic goodness to it. It's in the Midwest. It's not like, not that there's not some turds there too, believe me, I've seen them, but overall, it's just a good salt of the earth Midwest group of people, and they're avid fans. So I think it would be the Chiefs.
Okay. Yeah, that's one of the families that in the NFL that you just gotta love them. I'm trying to think of other the Steelers, the people that own the Steelers is one.
The Rooney's, yeah, exactly.
Even the Bears, just some of those historic franchises are just have awesome ownership. So thankful for some of those organizations that have changed and impacted so many lives over the existence of this game.
Yeah, they have.
So I'm gonna ask you this. So you get the early predictions for who will be in the Super Bowl for next year.
I know it's hard to repeat, but I like where the Rams are at right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Tampa Bay is still in a good spot. I think they're in good hands with Todd Bowles, but their talent. There's always going to be a surprise team. There's always a team that didn't do very well last year, that all of a sudden that team could be the Jaguars. If they do their draft picks right, I think the previous head coach had things so sideways there, but I think they got a chance to be something. I don't know. Look for New England to come back around too. They
Oh yeah.
they don't go very long without making the playoffs.
This is true. This is very
And
true.
the team that you talked about before, I don't know if they're going to be able to have a good enough quarterback play, but Coach Tomlin gets the Steelers ready to go.
Yeah, it
I don't know
does.
if they'll get a good enough quarterback play, but
Yeah.
just as a team, they could be that team that all of a sudden is back, you know.
Absolutely. All right. I'm gonna ask one last question. It's the hardest question of them all, but sometimes can be the easiest. Is how can people follow you and keep up with you and keep up with everything that you have going on?
Well, they can look at it's teamroi.com. That is the new sports performance center that I'm involved with. They can follow me. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook under Hurd Performance and Jeff Hurd both. They can follow me on that. That's the best way.
Okay. And ladies and gentlemen, people of all nationalities, we thank you for listening in to another episode of Capturing the Game. You can go ahead and follow us on your favorite social media platform, whether it be Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. It doesn't matter. We're on all the platforms. That's at CTG_podcast. We're also on your favorite podcast platform, whether it be Spotify, Anchor, Google, Apple. It's Capturing the Game. Jeff, thank you so much for this incredible episode, this incredible interview. You almost made me got out my seat and start running 2 miles, but that's okay.
Oh, good.
But Coach, you was definitely outstanding, and thank you for your time on this Sunday afternoon.
Desmond, thank you, and reach back out to me when you get ready to start getting back into it, and we'll help you get on your journey.
That's right. Let's go.
Tell Sean Teal I said hello too.
Oh, we'll do.